IndigoMusic.com, and you are hanging out with Rohit and me, Aisha. We're teaming up today because we are about to get into something super duper exciting, and it's an absolute exclusive IndigoMusic.com experience session with Rohit and me and the band that we're about to get talking to. I don't want to give too many clues because actually they are a band that needs no introduction, but I'll give you a few clues and a few hints. This is a band straight out of Canada. They formed all the way back in 1995, so they have been around the block for a minute. They've sold more than 50 million albums worldwide. They were inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. So it's my absolute pleasure, and Rohit's as well, to welcome the boys behind Nickelback. Make some noise for Chad Kroeger, Ryan Peake, Daniel Adair, and Mike Kroeger.
How are you?
Thanks for having us.
I'm going to hand it over to Rohit because he's got a list of questions that he wants to ask you.
Absolutely. I mean, you guys just came out with your new album, Get Rollin, and it's continuously playing in the studio right now. Tell me more about what makes this album special.
Well, this one, we kind of got back to what we used to do many years ago. And we kind of, what we did was really just write all over the map. Instead of just writing one sort of specific style, there's really kind of something on there for everybody. And those are always the favorite records of mine. One of my favorites next to this record would be All the Right Reasons, and it's in that same style. So I'm a big fan of not sticking to one style of music whatsoever.
Fantastic.
Wow. And I also want to ask you, Chad, San Quentin, which is one of my favorite tracks, inspired by a certain prison warden. What is the story behind that?
I was at a party for a friend of mine. This friend of mine, he's on TV all the time over here. He does all these cooking shows and stuff like that. So he's throwing this big party, and he knew everybody in sort of the San Francisco area. And there was probably 1,000 people at this birthday party. It was massive. It was a really, really, really big party. And the next thing I know, I'm having this conversation with some guy, and he's like, "Oh, I like what you do. I like your music." And I said, "Oh, thank you very much. What do you do for a living?" And he said, "Well, I'm the warden at San Quentin." And I was like, "Yeah, but what do you really do for a living?" Because he was just way too young. I was just thinking to myself, this guy's way too young to be, the warden of a very infamous prison. And everybody behind him was going like, "That's him." I'm like, oh, you really are the warden for San Quentin. And immediately I was like, I kind of had the phone, and I'm like, started talking, like, yeah, right on. I was like writing down the idea of like, I should definitely, write a song called San Quentin. So that's about it. There you have it.
Wow.
That's amazing. Now, with Get Rollin, there's just so much to take in with this new album, and we're super duper excited about it. But as a band, you guys have said that you'll never took yourself seriously in the past. Has that kind of changed with Get Rollin?
No, we take ourselves even less serious.
Maybe less than ever now. If you notice, the cover art on this one is different than all the previous albums because the cover art typically has been rather severe and dark, and a lot of that's been my fault. Personally, but now that somebody else took over, like Chad and I think Ryan took over the kind of the creative direction of the visual of the album cover, it's way happier now. So that's nice.
It's unforgivable, Mike. Unforgivable.
It's what got us this far. We might as well be happy now, though.
Okay, but taking all of that, you guys are now getting on stage, going on tour. How's that going?
Been great. It's amazing. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona. This is probably our 14th show, something like that. 14, 15 shows in. We've definitely knocked the dust off. We remember how to do this again. Because it's been a minute, it's been like 5 years since we've been on the road. And it's a lot of fun to get out there and do this again. And now I can definitely tell, especially with the last couple shows, that things are less serious when we get on stage. We're not it's like, okay, we remember how to do this. And so now things have really loosened up, and now we're really starting to enjoy ourselves. It was a little tense the first few shows.
Yeah. All the pyro is happening when it's supposed to happen now.
Yeah.
All the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's a fun night. It's a good time.
I have to ask, have you all ever had an incident in these 14 shows where something's gone wrong and you're like, oh, someone's getting fired?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
More than you can possibly know.
Let's have a therapy session here, okay? You can talk about it for hours.
This is a leather couch. We should lay down and really
Yeah.
tell you about our problems.
So the good part of that is that the crowd can hardly tell, which is fantastic. You don't want to know when everybody's running around with their hair apart backstage, but it's good. We've gotten through the little bumps and whatnot to get there, but no, it's I think we've hit our stride now. It's good.
And those people did in fact get fired.
Yeah.
And now everything's working great.
Gently, yeah.
Yes, very gently.
That's so much fun, and we got to know that we're going to be in conversation with you guys, and we ran a contest on air right here in India to find your biggest fan, and we said we are going to play out a question that they have for you. So I'm just going to share the screen with you right now, and this is your biggest fan from India, and she's got a question for you.
Hi, this is Kushi, and firstly I'd like to really thank indigomusic.com for giving me the opportunity to talk to my most favorite band. I love you guys and I've been listening to you for a very long time. My question is to Chad. Chad, I know you've been to a lot of places around the world, you've done a lot of gigs, you've done a lot of tours as well, and you've met tons and tons of fans around the globe. Have you ever had a crazy fan moment, and can you explain to us how it was?
A crazy fan moment of Chad.
I mean, yeah, I've had a lot. I've had a lot of them actually. I was coming out of my front gate, and I was late to get to the airport because I was supposed to meet these guys because we were flying. I think we were flying to Europe, and I was really late. And so the gates come open, and there's a vehicle right there. And this woman gets out, and she just starts losing her mind. And she's kind of screaming. I can't really understand what's going on. She's like, "Oh my God, can I get a picture?" And I just want to, and I've got like, I'm like, "I am so sorry. I'm so late. I don't even have time for you to get back in your car to move. I'm just going to drive over my hedges." And I just drove right over the hedges and like went around her car right when she was standing right there. Sure enough, gate opens and there I am, and I'm in my truck, and I'm like, "Hi, I'm sorry, I've got to go." And I just went right over the bushes.
You were the crazy one.
Yeah, I guess I might have been the crazy one. I was so late. Oh, I was
That's awesome.
so late. I
That's
just
crazy. Man, I had a family from England come to my house.
yeah.
They found where I lived and came to my house while I was on the road. So
Wow,
we were in the
really?
States. We're big fans of Nickelback. I'm like, well, we're on the road. And my wife's still I'm like,
They're not home right now.
can you please leave? Yeah, he's
Actually,
not here.
I have a funny one too. And it kind of ties in here because when I was away on tour, I got a call I had a lady staying at my house on Maui in Hawaii. She was watching my home, and she said she came to check the house, and there was an Indian lady in my house from Norway, which is also wow. But so she had to call the police and have the Indian lady from Norway put in jail.
You think it from your house in Hawaii.
Yeah. So playing in a rock band definitely has its very weird moments. We can tell you that for sure.
Fantastic. Now, have you guys Googled yourself off late, like recently?
No, no. We've Googled ourselves recently.
Nickelback Day. There's an interesting thing that happens. So I Googled Nickelback, and the search result was interesting. Now they have discovered a molecule that's named Nickelback. And maybe this particular molecule, according to scientific studies, is the reason for existence of life on Earth. What do you have to
Sounds about
That sounds right. That sounds
We've been
right.
trying for this for years.
Hey.
Have you seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? It's like we're either going to be the reason for world peace, or for the creation of society and life itself. I mean, I think that's fair. I like this. I like where that article's going. So I've heard about it. I haven't read it, but I have heard about that one.
We are Neanderthals anyway, so we're at the start of civilization. Yes.
I think that's the first thing you should do. Get off and Google it and check it out for yourself. Rohit has it right. And you guys had it right all the way back when.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of Nickelback as a band, you guys were recently inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. Congratulations, by the way. How does that feel?
Thank you. Amazing. It's very humbling. We did not expect that. Did not see it coming. It felt like that would be something that would probably come in like 10 years from now or 15 years, if it ever came. We just it just felt like we were just too young to be receiving an honor like that. But it was really wild. And not only that, like hockey is a really big deal in Canada. It's a big deal in North America, but really big in Canada. And one of the best hockey players on the planet right now, his name is Connor McDavid. And he plays in the city where we were inducted. And so he actually inducted us into the Canadian Hall of Fame. And that was just the cherry on top. Like that just made it even better. So
Well,
it was really cool.
Along with Ryan Reynolds saying some really nice things.
Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
Okay.
he didn't have to say anything. It was, we paid him well.
Yes, Ryan's a sweetheart to us.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds, we all love him. Now, I have a question to Mike. You kind of know Chad's secrets and inspiration behind, his amazing earworms that you guys come out with. What makes Chad's thought click?
Oh, wow. I don't know that one. I know a lot. I know a lot of things about Chad, but I don't know that one.
I think, when you're a songwriter and stuff, you know how to capitalize on moments and kind of go, like, okay, I'm gonna grab this, and whether it's writing it down or those are when you can recognize those moments, and he's pretty good at recognizing what has potential for something lyrically or melodically. I think that definitely helps. That definitely helps the process when you got somebody. I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say it. you find I don't know, the best way to say it, you have a bloodhound that finds a trail, and you kind of you get that, you start chasing that trail. That's the hardest part sometimes, is starting something. So that's what he's tends to be good at. You believe any of that?
No.
Now, I love cars. A show of hands, how many of you love cars? I mean, just all of you? You guys love?
Yeah,
Now-
I love cars.
Chad gifted you a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. What do you have to tell Chad?
What do I have to tell him? I have to tell him that it's really hard on gas, and I can't see how fast I'm going because the speedometer doesn't work. And I need to rent a garage to keep it somewhere. No, it's awesome. It was it's pretty crazy to get a gift like that. But we've been joking about that for years. For years, I've been talking about getting the old, Burt Reynolds, Smokey and the Bandit kind of car, and so he finally followed through with this threat of getting me a car for my birthday. So,
Well, I always asked him. I always said, what's the one thing, now that we're, financially secure, what would be the one dream item that you've always wanted that you've just never, had the chance to go get? And he said, he's like, it had to be like an old Trans Am sort of thing. And I'm like, why don't you go get it? And the answer was really amazing, actually. He said, because if I get everything I've ever wanted, I'll have nothing left to dream for.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah. And so I ruined that immediately.
Crush another dream.
now I got to come up with another dream. I don't know what it is.
Any other car that you're dreaming of right now, Ryan? Chad is right.
Me?
Probably tell him.
Yeah. No. I'm not the dreamer for cars. I don't think this guy is probably the dreamer.
How
I'm
about
waiting.
Chiron?
Bugatti Veyron. Just say you want a Bugatti Veyron.
Yeah, manifest destiny. Bugatti Veyron.
That's a little bit different than buying a Trans Am.
Yeah.
Higher commitment level.
Now, Get Rollin is out and Nickelback is on tour. I wanted to ask you something, but a particular artist from India, Behram Siganporia, he's the lead singer and guitarist of India's, one of India's top bands called Best Kept Secret. Now, he has this question for you guys.
Hi, this is Behram from the band Best Kept Secret on indigomusic.com. And I just want to say that Nickelback has been a big inspiration for all of us as a band, from the moment This Is How You Remind Me came out to all the hits. It's just such an inspiration to see a band keep rock and roll music alive. And we just have one question to ask Chad, and that is, when can we expect Nickelback in India? And the second question, I know this is a bumper question, but the second question is, if Nickelback ever comes to India, we would love to open for you guys. Lots of love to Nickelback all the way from India.
Well,
That's
very kind. Thank you.
What I think we should do is, and yes, thank you for the love, absolutely. What I think we should do is, one, we should do a song together. So we'll do a song together. Then that gives us even more reason to come there and play. And then those guys can open up for us. Then we could play the song together every single night live. What do you think? That could work.
Well, I think, of course, yeah, I think that would be great. You guys should get together. You should make more
They're the biggest band in India right now. Are they the biggest band in India right now?
Oh my gosh, there are so many people awaiting you guys, and we keep wondering why it hasn't happened yet and why we don't see more of you on this side of the world. We really hope that you guys can make it happen and come on over, because your legion of fans just await you.
That would be wonderful.
Thank you. We're working on it. I like that guy's shirt too. Nice shirt.
Absolutely.
So we here at indigomusic.com have put the spotlight on Nickelback, and more so now with this new album, Get Rollin. We're loving the tracks. Of course, like I said, your legions of fans are loving it as well. Congratulations on an awesome album, you guys. But what's next? I know this is what you're promoting now, but what's next? What's cooking in the jam room of Nickelback?
Well, we just found out about a band in India called The Best Kept Secret.
Similar with that.
We're honestly going to, as soon as this interview is over, I'm going to have our tour manager reach out to them. I'll have them direct message them. We'll start talking with those guys, and so that's literally the next thing I'm going to do. Other than that, we've got to finish this tour and make it through this tour without dying, because it is a long, like just the first leg, just the first North American leg is 55 shows. It's just absolutely
we have
crazy.
our work cut out for us.
Yes,
We don't need to look too far into the future. We want to be able to do the show tomorrow.
exactly.
But we do. We've got international stuff in the works, so we're looking forward to getting outside the continent, bringing to everybody else. So that's kind of on the docket, like we said as well. We've actually got a documentary that is going to be hopefully coming out soon, and past that, just try to kind of stay alive on tour, basically.
Do you all have like one stop that's like a favorite for you guys that you'll love coming back to?
Wow, that's a good question.
I don't have one.
I like all the international stuff, to be perfectly honest. I mean, Australia's fun, Japan's fun to go to.
I love playing the O2 in London.
Yeah.
London at the O2
O2 is great.
That's an amazing stop.
Those are favorite. I mean, lots of places in North America. It literally depends. Sometimes it's like, okay, you're at this place. Is it a Saturday? Oh, that place is going to be crazy because it's a weekend. Or is it this? Sometimes there's variables about that. But we like it's exciting to see the new places we're able to go. That's as much as going back to places you love. It's great going to opening up new places that haven't heard you before. So that's exciting stuff.
Well, Chad, Mike, Ryan, and Daniel, together known as Nickelback, thanks a lot for making some time for Xperience Sessions right here on indigomusic.com. It was good to have you on our shows and online. Now the band is in tour. Cheers to that and much more. And before we wrap up, what's Nickelback's message to fans in India?
Thank you so much for checking out the music, for enjoying the music. And we cannot wait to get over there and play, because that's one of the biggest countries that we have not played yet. We cannot wait to come to India and play. So be patient, and we will be there as soon as we possibly can. Just sending big love to everybody in India. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, and special thanks to BMG and 9122 Records for sorting this exclusive interview with you guys, Nickelback. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.